Hi everybody, welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles, and in this week's news, the Oxford Fire Department gets a nod for a new truck, and Oxford looks to eliminate gypsy moth larvae. All that and more, the Oxford News begins right now. The Charter Township of Oxford Board is getting closer to designating select areas of the township for medical marijuana businesses, as they approved an ordinance with perimeters for growers, transporters, and provision centers. The board also approved the first reading of a zoning ordinance amendment to incorporate desired zoning restrictions, which may limit centers to 3 overlay districts along M24. Cultivation and transportation businesses can operate within the industrial zones. Both the second reading of the ordinance and the first for the zoning amendments were approved 6-1, with Treasurer Joe Ferrari as the lone no vote. The fire department moved to sell 3 pieces of property in the township, accepting a $69,000 bid to sell a half-acre parcel behind the Station 1 on 24. The money will be used to build a training tower at Station 1, as well as received approval to sell the 2007 Chevy Tahoe command vehicle, as well as the 1996 Pierce fire truck. The fire truck will be replaced by a nearly $700,000 step-in truck, which will take close to 2 years to build.
The Oxford, Lake Orion Downtown Development Authorities in a joint effort working together on the #Stronger Together campaign at the Main Street Oakland County Awards in Pontiac on the night of Thursday in May. This #Stronger Together campaign was recognized as the best campaign for Main Street by the event judges. The Stronger Together campaign was formulated after the November 30th shooting as a way to bring Oxford and Lake Orion downtowns closer together, as the same saying suggests. Stronger Together. The Stronger Together campaign has been built around coinciding with events in the 2 towns, starting in February with the Stronger Together Ice Fest, continuing through the March with a Oxford and Lake Orion shopping pass, and also letterboxing scavenger hunts. The downtown trolley, also running between Oxford and Lake Orion, has been very active since February and recently received funding from the Orion to continue its operation in the 2023. However, the trolley is currently out for current repairs, but we've seen that out there and about. Terry?
Now in its second growing season, the Seymour Lake Township Community Garden has a garden supervisor. Retired hairstylist and Addison Township resident Mary Rowley is putting her green thumb to work. Rowley has years of vegetable growing experience to bring to the garden, and this is not only the change the garden will see. While the garden started in 2021 with donated plants, this year's crop will be grown from seeds. Volunteers are invited to help Rowley with the garden and can contact Dawn Medici for details on where and when they are needed. Call Dawn at 248-628-1720, or you can also send her an email at dawnmedici@oxparkrec.org. Jim?
Oakland County will hold a Veterans Resource Fair from the American Legion Walter Post 108 coming up on Thursday, May 26th from 9 a.m. till noon. This event will be free, but registration is required. Check out the Post 108. It's located at 130 East Trainer Road, just east of M24 in Oxford Township. You can register by going to, this is their website now, tinyurl.com/Oakland County Veterans. Check that out if you might be interested in that program. Terry?
3 areas of Oxford Township will undergo aerial spraying for an organic insecticide designed to kill spongy moth, or more commonly known as the gypsy moth caterpillars, which the larvae feeds on the foliage of many North American plants. This pesticide has been used in Michigan since 1985. Nearly 500 acres in the township will be targeted, and according to the Michigan State University Extension, the insecticide known as BT will not harm birds, fish, plants, and most beneficial insects. Property may be entered immediately after spraying with no restrictions following use. The fine mist will leave residue on leaves, which will dry in about 4 to 6 hours. The spraying will be funded by Oxford Township in concert with Oakland County. If you have any concerns, contact MSU Extension Spongy Moth Supervision Program at 248-858-0887. Jim?
On Saturday, the Panaquis Animal Sanctuary, Peace for short, in Oxford Township held its first open barn day of the season. Folks had a grand time touring the 5-acre farm and interacting with the creatures, great and small. Operating since 1994, the sanctuary's mission to provide care and comfort for animals that have been abused or neglected or abandoned and suffer from health issues as well, or just simply getting old. A need stress-free environment to live out the remainder of their lives. If you're interested in maybe getting up there and doing a tour, 940 Hummer Lake Road. Pease is a safe haven for a variety of four-legged and feathered animals, including horses, cows, sheep, goats, pigs, peacocks, ducks, and chickens, and other animals. There's no Pease was the last hope. Again, you should contact them if you might have an animal that would be good for that area, or maybe take a tour. Dr. Judy Duncan and Ed Stull, along with their army of compassionate volunteers. The next open barn day is scheduled coming up on Sunday, June 5th. To learn more about Pease, P-E-A-S, schedule a visit at peasebarn.org. That's all one word, peasebarn.org. Terry.
The Emmanuel Congregational Church of Christ will be holding a fundraiser to repair their bell tower, which will be held June 4th and 5th at Wojo's Greenhouse. Wojo's will donate 10% of their entire sales to the church when the customer mentions the bell tower fundraiser. So if you still need flowers or plants for your yard, be sure to shop on June 4th and 5th and mention the Emmanuel Congregational Church of Christ Bell Tower fundraiser to the cashier. Also, don't forget, next Monday is Memorial Day, and Addison Township will hold a ceremony at the Addison Township Cemetery on Drainer Road on Saturday, and I'm not sure of the time, so I'm not going to tell you the time. And then Monday on the 30th, the Oxford ceremony will take place at the park downtown, and they'll parade up to the cemetery. Also not sure about the time, but keep an eye on us because we will give you time. And with that, we will have Dave Kenny with another segment of Auto Talk and Science and News, and super sports announcer Jim Hughes with sports. And we'll be right back to close it all out after that. Don't go away.
Welcome to Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from Automotive News. In our first story, Ford Motor Company said it was recalling 39,000 SUVs after reports of 16 fires and has advised owners to park their vehicles outdoors and away from structures until a fix is completed. The recall, which covers some 2021 model year Ford Expedition and Lincoln Navigator vehicles, was prompted as an engine compartment fire could occur while the car is parked or being driven, even with the ignition off, the number 2 U.S. automaker said. There was no injury debris, but no accidents related to the fires, it said, and 14 of the 16 affected vehicles were owned by rental car companies. A remedy was still under development, and Ford was working to establish the cause. This year, Ford has issued 30 U.S. recalls covering 3.5 million vehicles, the most of any automaker. Ford this week issued 2 other recalls, including 310,000 2016 Super Duty F-250s, F-350s, F-450s, and F-550 trucks because dust may accumulate in the steering wheel clock spring, causing an electrical disconnection, resulting in driver airbags not deploying as intended. Owners will have their vehicle steering wheel clock springs replaced, and Ford has no reports of injuries. Ford is also updating the software in 464 2021 Mustang Mach-E vehicles with all-wheel drive because a powertrain control module may fail to detect a software error, resulting in unintended acceleration. And over at Tesla is recalling nearly 130,000 electric vehicles in the U.S. because the infotainment central processing unit may overheat during fast charging, causing the center display to lag or appear blank. The recall covers 2021 to 2022 Model S and X vehicles and 2022 Model 3 and Model Y vehicles operating with certain firmware releases, according to a safety recall report submitted on May 3rd to NHTSA. During fast charging or in preparation of fast charging, the infotainment processor may not cool sufficiently to prevent higher than expected temperatures affecting the center display, according to the report. If the center display lags or appears blank, it may also cause the rear view camera display, windshield visibility control settings, drive modes, which are drive, neutral, and reverse, and other warning lights to be unavailable, potentially increasing the risk of a crash, the report said. Tesla told U.S. auto safety regulators that it is aware of 59 warranty claims and 59 field reports in the U.S. related to the recall, and it's not aware of any crashes, injuries, or deaths. Automakers and other manufacturers are required to submit a safety recall to NHTSA for any repair, including software updates, that it remedies an unreasonable risk to safety, the agency said. Those companies also are required to submit any communications to owners, dealers, and others about any software updates that address a defect, whether or not it's a safety-related or not. The automaker did not immediately respond to a request for comment from Automotive News. To fix the issue, Tesla is deploying an over-the-air firmware update to improve the management of the processor's temperature and associated communications with elevated temperature operation. Tesla stores and service centers were notified starting May 6, and vehicle owners will be notified via mail starting July 1st. Since January, Tesla has issued 11 recalls affecting nearly 2.3 million vehicles, according to NHTSA, and some of those vehicles are part of more than one recall campaign. Wow. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and we'll be right back.
Do you love local sports? Whether it's Oxford High School or Parks and Rec, you can buy copies of each game. To purchase your copy, call us at 248-628-9658 or give us an email at manager@occtv.org or talk to us at the next game. Hopefully we'll see you there.
Welcome back to Oxford News This Week. Oxford varsity softball team had a crisp pair of games against Lake Orion. This took back place on the 13th of May at 4:30. The Dragons outclassed the Wildcats with a dominant 11-run third inning. Oxford scored 1 run after the third, setting the final score to 11-1. The second game, a doubleheader, began shortly afterwards. Once again, the Dragons secured the win with an 8-4 score. Maya Spiz helped start for Oxford with a home run. As of May 13th, the varsity softball team has put up 10 for 19 overall season record. Lan Cott citing the team youth skew as the main project to work on. While their last outing against Lake Orion went to the Dragons' favor, the Wildcats may have their shot to even the score with the upcoming MHSAA District 25 playoff. That'll be hosted by Lake Orion. Oxford will play Clarkston in the first round. Whoever wins there will take on the winner of the Lake Orion Dragons and Waterford Kettering. Districts begin at 10 a.m. on June 4th at Lake Orion High School. Before then, the team wraps up its regular season with a doubleheader against Walled Lake. Northern. That was Wednesday, May 18th. We'll have results next week. And away header, Rochester Adams on the 24th. Again, both started at 4:30. We'll have results on those contests next week. The Oxford High School varsity baseball team managed to dodge getting swept by Lake Orion in the late April game. Again, this is a few weeks back. We were able to catch part of that, winning the last game in the three-part series of the home between Tuesday, the 26th, and Thursday, the 28th. The first game began at 4 p.m. on the 26th and ended with a 4-5 defeat. 12th grader Edward B. racked up a half Oxford runs with a 11th grader Owen Schill put up 7 strikeouts. The second game directly followed the first and wrapped up on the 28th. Lake Orion, orchestrating the overwhelming 2-12 defeat. 12th grader Brady Carpenter notched both for the Wildcats runs. Again, Edward B. threw 6 strikeouts. Oxford came back to win later on the second game with a 5-run third inning at 6-5. Triumphed over the Dragons. The 11th grader Logan Marshall scored 2 for Oxford runs, the most among Oxford players, while 12th grader Gavin Walters landed 8 strikeouts against Lake Orion batters across 6 innings of play. They kind of evened the series. The game they saw, they kicked. That was Sunday. A group of dedicated public servants represented Oxford Township in the charity kickball tournament that was held at the Orion Township Friendship Park. Again, consisting of township staff, members of the fire department played all 3 games. Oxford beat Lake Orion Community Schools 9-4, but lost to the Orion Township in Rochester Hills. Kicking for Oxford Township were Oxford Township Supervisor Jack Curtis as he managed things from the dugout. Big thank you to everybody that participated and played. If you want a list of who participated, go on the Oxford Township Facebook page. There's a complete list of all the players that day they played that kickball game. That's sports. We'll have more next week. More coming up, and Terry now close it out on this edition of Oxford News This Week. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Boeing's Starliner spacecraft was on its way to the International Space Station last week despite an issue with its thrusters. The uncrewed test mission, if successful, would have marked an important step in expanding the capability for sending astronauts to orbit from U.S. soil, something only SpaceX can do at the moment. The spacecraft was scheduled to arrive at the ISS at 2300 hours GMT on May 20th, almost 24 hours after it took off at 2254 minutes at GMT on Thursday the 19th of May from Cape Canaveral in Florida on top of a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket. While the launch was successful, 2 onboard thrusters out of 12 failed as Starliner maneuvered into orbit. However, the malfunction is unlikely to be a major issue as backup thrusters ensure the spacecraft could continue on its way. The system is designed to be redundant, and it performed like it was supposed to, said Commercial Crew Manager Mark Nappy at a press conference on May 19th. We have a safe vehicle and we're on our way to the International Space Station, he said. The spacecraft has had a troubled past, although. In 2019, it was unable to reach the ISS after a faulty clock meant the rocket's boosters failed to properly fire after liftoff. In 2021, just hours before scheduled launch, pre-flight checks revealed corroded valves that required repair, and the launch was postponed again until May 19th. Getting any new spacecraft into space is always challenging, says Libby Jackson at the UK Space Agency. Space companies do testing to find out the problem, so I'm very confident that Boeing will have looked through all of those and they're not going to launch pad without being confident that they are in a good place to test. If Starliner managed to reach it on Friday, the ISS that is, it will join SpaceX as a second commercial outfit capable of flying U.S. astronauts to space, with Starliner's first crewed launch penciled in for later this year. SpaceX first flew 2 astronauts aboard its Crew Dragon capsule in May 2020 and has since flown 8 more astronauts to the ISS on a further 2 missions. In 2018, when Russia's Soyuz spacecraft was the only way to get to the ISS, a rocket malfunction meant astronauts risked being stranded on the station while the issue was investigated. Part of the reason for NASA encouraging the commercial spacecraft sector was to avoid relying on Russia, an issue that has become more pressing since the country's invasion of Ukraine. To have 2 different ways of getting into space will mean that should there be problems on either one, they will have means to get there, said Jackson. That's really important for ensuring that we have continued and safe operations on the International Space Station. And as a post note, it really did get to the ISS last week. Very successful. Well, that's it for Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
So it's nice to have you back. I appreciate that you come out here as often as you can. I know you weren't feeling well, and
I feel better
you look
now.
much better. That's for sure. I'm glad you're back. So I really want to reiterate the Emmanuel Congregational Church is rebuilding their bell tower. Not to mention they also need to have a new roof,
Right.
and they've been quoted over $100,000 already just for the roof and 80-something for the bell tower. So I know everybody wants to go get flowers and plants this week. If you can maybe just wait till the 4th and get your plants and mention the Emmanuel Congregational bell tower, that's a pretty good extension that Wojo's given them.
Oh, nice, yeah.
10% of their entire sales. That's pretty great. Also, the garden that we talked about earlier, those that community garden, the product, the produce from that
Right.
garden gets donated to the free meals program that Emmanuel Congregational Church has on Wednesday
Italian.
nights through Connie Miller. It is. It's really, they're really an important pillar in our community, but also the produce goes out to other people that are in need as well. And it's a really great program.
do they have like a market where I can come and buy stuff? Or
There will be. The Parks and Recs CJ won a grant to build a farmer's market out here. So
Yeah, they
they're
have one.
going to have
They have one down in Royal Oak. I mean, that's a very popular
lovely,
thing
and-
on weekends and stuff, and everybody gathers there, and you buy honey and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
right. And watermelon,
Watermelon.
so yummy. and they will be also having one downtown.
Oh, good.
The DDA
Very cool.
is sponsoring
Hey,
it.
do us
so.
a favor. Tell them how they can see us.
So, if you
they're
wanna
not-
learn more-
I mean, I always find that kind of ironic. We're telling them how they can see us, so if they are
I know.
watching us, they're already watching us.
Well, but they could be watching us on Facebook, and maybe they want to go home and watch us from their living room.
Well,
and if
that's
you're
why
going
we
to
have
do
this
that,
little script here.
you can learn more about these stories and others if you go to Charter Channel 191, which is Spectrum. AT&T is Channel 99, Uverse. You can watch us on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook. If you have a Roku app, you can download that, and eventually, as soon as Roku gets us on the air, you can watch us on Roku. What else? OCTV is also available for local groups for producing public service announcements. Have a show idea, want to volunteer, give us a call at the studio, 248-628-9658.
So if I wanted to do a puppet show, I would just give you a call?
I would love it if you would come and call us, and I'd say, yeah, come and do a
Or if
puppet
you-
show.
yeah, and better yet, instead of me doing the puppet show, I think you might be able to do the puppet show.
You out there.
You out there, you got an idea?
Especially
Why
if
not?
you have a puppet.
We even have a desk for the puppets, okay?
We do. You could hide. There's curtains. We
Who
can
knows?
close
It could be
these
the next,
curtains.
it could be the
There's all
next Jim
kinds of-
Henson from OCTV.
Or the Jim Hughes from OCTV. So if you want to come and help Jim with the puppet show,
Okay.
call us at 248-628-9658.
I got to thank some people.
Yes.
And we want to thank Dan Weiss, who does everything in the back, makes us look good.
Yeah.
And of course, Joe
Hewitt,
who edits this thing, and he goes out and snags pictures and makes it all look good.
And then Connie gets it on the air.
Connie times it in. She does.
Yep, Connie
When she's
Miller.
not helping us with food, she's timing it up. And also Terry Stiles edits some of the stuff I send. So anyways, we do it. It's a collective. We all have fun.
Yep.
We'll be back again next week. Everybody have a great week. Take care. Anything else, Terry?
Happy Memorial Day if I don't hear from you.
Happy Memorial Day, and
Yeah.
remember what the day is all about. It's a great day to
That's
have
right.
hamburger and hot dogs, but it's also a good day to salute that veteran
Remember
that you may
that
have
veteran.
not saluted in a long time. Till we do it all over again, I'm Jimmy Hughes, Terry Stiles. Have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.